I'm sorry. I was under the weather last week and I didn't even message it on my community page on YouTube, but I'm back for another breakfast for dinner live, feeling good. And today I'm joined by Kelli Brink, author of True Crime Sleep Stories. So
That's
Kelli,
right.
say hello and just we're
Hello.
gonna just jump right in. Welcome to the live. Thank you for spending an hour or however long with me tonight, and
Yeah,
I'm excited to chat. So
me
why don't
too.
you tell the people here kind of a little bit about, why don't we start with True Crime Sleep Stories? And why it is that you like to listen to murder to go to sleep.
Well, I always have, actually. And there are a lot of us out there. But, I started my podcast several years ago, True Crime Sleep Stories, because I wanted something that I wasn't finding out there in the ether. And so I
Right.
made it myself. I wanted like calming, kind of Zen style true crime stories that wouldn't wake me up with alarming details when I listened to binge listened to multiple episodes. So it started
Sure.
as a podcast. Yeah. And then my publisher, Beyond the Fray, came to me and they were like, this podcast would make a great book. Do you want to just put the podcast episodes into some books? So that's how the whole author thing started. But yeah, I've been in true crime for about 7 years. I've had a few different podcasts and worked on lots of different podcasts in that genre over that time. So
yeah. Right on. I love this idea of not finding what it is that you kind of want out there existing, so you just make it yourself, right? Like that's kind of the philosophy of our channel and my channel as well, right? So that's super cool. And I can also big time relate to the idea of the Zen idea and not wanting it to be abrasive for those listening while they're falling asleep, because I'm an audio book guy myself.
Yeah.
And I always throw the headphones in, and nowadays I set myself a timer for like 30 minutes so that it'll automatically just stop, because in the past I wasn't doing that, and I would be listening to I've been listening to a lot of books in the world of Alien, like the film Alien.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
World.
Yeah.
And like I would wake up like 4 hours later in the night, and there's like screaming and alien stuff happening, and I'm like, what the heck was I subliminally having like put into my brain for the last like 3 hours while I was sleeping?
Why am I having these nightmares? What's going on? Yes, I know.
Exactly.
I used to listen to Sword and Scale, and I would fall asleep to that. And that is, you don't want to fall asleep to Sword and Scale. So
right, yeah,
no, but yeah, yep. That's kind of I had a background in radio. Like in my 20s, I worked at some really small radio stations, and I knew how to do the editing and the audio stuff, and I just decided, podcasts were getting really popular, so I just started my own and have had fun with it. So yeah, I've worked on a lot of podcasts though over the years. So
in what capacity, when you say you worked, like in what capacity were you working at these different places?
So I was an editor and producer of True Crime, Truth and Justice with Bob Ruff, and True Crime Binge with Bob Ruff. I've done lots of live shows with True Crime Garage, Generation Y, and then and then I've had 2 of my own true crime podcasts, True Crime IRL and True Crime Sleep Stories, and then another one non-true crime related, Manthropology, and then I created and produced Misunderstood with Rachel Yucatel. That's a celebrity gossip podcast and entertainment. Oh gosh. And Kamhala with Doug Townsend. That's just to name a few. That's off the top of my head. Those are the ones that I've worked on. So like lots of shows over the years. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So what got you into true crime in the first place?
Well, I've always loved dark stuff, like ghost stories, murder stories. I think I told you, like, one of the first true crime books I read in middle school, I read Helter Skelter. So like I was always into serial killers and like the psychology behind it. Like, why do people do this? Why would people kill all these people? I would never hurt anyone. Like, why would these people, what's different about them than me? Like, how are we different? I just really was so morbidly curious about this stuff. So I would read lots of books and listen to, and then I was into like all the TV shows, like all the Dateline NBC and Forensic
Yeah.
Files and
Yeah,
just
of
all
course.
of that kind of stuff over the years.
Yeah.
And I've always
Forensic
just,
Files, yeah.
it's, for me, it's more like, why do they do that? Why do they
Yeah.
do that? Like, what motivates someone to kill people? I guess that was really the morbid curiosity for me. Plus, aren't we all kind of like curious about death and what it's like? And I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, the interesting thing for me is that since starting the channel, well, I don't know if it's interesting or if it's obvious, but like my consumption of true crime content's actually gone way down. I think because
Yeah.
I'm working on it all the time
Same.
now. So it's just like
Yes.
when I'm not, I don't feel like going upstairs and watching like this next documentary
Same.
on the Night Stalker or something.
Yeah.
I
Since
haven't even
yeah.
seen Monster Dahmer, that series.
Oh, okay. I did watch that.
Yeah.
The ones that are really like big in the news, really popular and sensationalized,
Yeah.
I feel like it's my duty. Like I have to watch those. But overall, my true crime consumption has gone way down. My podcast consumption overall has gone way down. I've got audio in my ears all the time. I feel like, with
Right.
work and stuff, I don't want to usually go and listen to a podcast then at the end of the day after editing audio or something. So yeah. And
Yeah.
I just have needed, it's such a dark subject. Like I used to be really interested in it, but now when it's, you're writing about it for 8 hours a day, it's
Yeah.
really, it gets to be a lot. You need a palate cleanser. I need comedy.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
comedy. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of comedy and stupid movies and like
Yeah.
animated stuff with my kids and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
James
For
Herbert
sure.
says, I've been watching so many different documentaries this week. Like what, James? Let us
Oh,
know. And I'll
yeah.
make you uncomfortable. Asked, do you have a favorite serial killer? I'll make you uncomfortable. How many times I gotta tell you, man? that
That's
that question is like I actually hate that question.
I was gonna say I can't like say favorite serial killer.
Favorite's weird. Yeah.
Do
It's not
yeah, do
favorite. It's like who do you find most interesting?
exactly like what case kind of intrigues me the most.
As I
I
always say,
mean,
they're not baseball cards.
I
It's not a color. I don't have a favorite.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, what's
oh,
your favorite
blue.
food? Yeah.
Yeah.
I am really interested in, well, kind of, okay, the basic ones that we all know. Ted
Mhm.
Bundy, he was such a like why I'm really interested. I was really
You
interested
just
in
did
his
that.
background.
You guys should go to her
Yeah,
Instagram and check this video she just did where you were basically flirting with Bundy.
it was a parody,
I
it was
understand it was a parody, yes.
yes. It was speaking to our fascination with serial killers, like,
Yes.
and how we romanticize them because of the way they look. With like Ted Bundy, Luigi, who just, well, he's not a
Oh, that's
serial
a big
killer,
one.
but
Yeah.
these murderers are being so like romanticized in the
Yeah.
comments. Like all the women are
Yeah.
like, I don't care, I'd marry him, blah blah blah.
Wade
So
Wilson.
yes, Wade Wilson. That's fascinating to me. So that's why I made that funny little reel. But I hope nobody thinks I was serious with that. But
Yeah, no.
yeah, Ted Bundy is really fascinating because he grew up, kind of normal, kind of not when you look a little deeper into it.
No,
Like
not
his
normal. Yeah.
family was pretty messed up, but he was highly intelligent, very good looking, and was able to kind of assimilate. But
Mm-hmm.
he had that dark side to him that he could never quite squash. But
So my favorite
he's your
my word of the year, basically, compartmentalization. Like
yes, yeah,
the ability, that's the scariest ones, right? The guys who can seemingly live these two kind of normal lives. I always talk about
yeah.
BTK, but
I
it's
was just
true.
gonna say
BTK.
him next.
He
BTK.
his
Yeah.
daughter considered like he was a good dad.
Yes, Carrie
Blah, blah,
Rawson, his
blah. Yeah.
daughter, comes to CrimeCon frequently. She's been a speaker at CrimeCon
She
before.
follows me.
Does she? Really? Maybe she's watching now. That's
If she watches a couple of my videos, she'll unfollow me.
Well,
But yeah.
he's an interesting one, but he's interesting to me because he was in a position of power too through his job, and then he was
kind of. He was like,
well,
your grass is too long. Here's a
yeah,
fine.
but he
And
was
then he goes home and he
seeking
like,
exactly.
over the length of somebody's grass.
Yes, he was
yeah.
seeking that power though that he didn't have. Like he was
Sure.
What was he like? He was he a park ranger? I can't remember or
He was,
something like that.
He was like kind of like a bylaw / dog catcher /
Oh yes,
yeah.
that's right. That's what it was. But then he worked
He was
for
he literally wrote tickets for people whose grass was too long. Like I wasn't kidding. And then probably,
he worked for
ADT
ADT security. And
He was a Boy
that's
Scout leader.
crazy. Boy Scout leader. Yes. So like
Church member.
yes, somewhat positions of power, like a little bit of power that he was
just
seeking
searching
out.
for it
So
anywhere,
yes,
right?
seeking that out for sure. So and then the way he got caught, his ego, doesn't that always just do it? The ego, I think. Yeah. So that was
Have you ever seen the footage of him after he was arrested and he's sitting in his interrogation and he's upset with the police, right? He says to the guy who arrests him, he goes, I got a bone to pick with you, basically. He's like, why did you lie to me about the floppy disk? Right? Because he had asked the police in a note in the newspaper if they could trace a floppy, and they told him no. Right? And then so he sends a floppy, they catch him, and then he's sitting there in the interrogation, he's mad, he goes, why'd you lie to me about the floppy disk, man? And the guy's like, because I was trying to catch you. Right? And he's so narcissistic that he thought they were on some sort of level of respect with each other.
Yeah.
Which is absurd.
I know, mind blowing.
Yeah.
Do you think all serial killers are narcissists?
I think a lot of them are. I think Ted Bundy was definitely a narcissist.
Do you think Jeffrey 100%. Dahmer was a narcissist?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. He was. Yeah.
Probably it doesn't seem like it. That's a good question, though. I have a very exciting video coming out in a week's time. That's all about. I don't know if I want to. Spoiler. There's only 25 of us in here right now. There's like a very exciting video coming out that's based on this idea of if we took a guy like a BTK or a Ted Bundy or a David Berkowitz from the 70s. And transplanted them into today's day and age to grow up where they could have easier access to all kinds of like, pornography and explicit material and stuff like that, and ways to meet other people that shared similar type of like, to some degree level interest and stuff like that. Could that have made or helped or changed or satiated anything at all, or would it have not made a difference? And like the whole video is just based around that. And like we just shot 2 days ago, and I shot a few other things. The best content I've ever made coming out in the next couple of weeks. I'm so excited for people to get their eyes on it.
That is exciting. Do you give your opinion, yes or no, whether you think it would make a difference, or do you just ask the question to your audience?
It's a good question. You have to watch and see if I give my opinions.
Okay, I'll give you my opinion. I think it would make a difference. I think it would make a big difference.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for people I can't wait for people to like get in there and like kind of debate that out in the comments. Okay, if you want my actual opinion, like I don't think so, really. I think at the end of the day they're going to escalate to do the real thing no matter what.
Okay. But they would get caught these days before.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Hey, guys who were here last week, we got Death Row Bill back in the comments. Dr. Bill. Dr. Death. Yeah. Tolga, it's 5:14 a.m. now. Where are you if it's 5:14 a.m.? Because that's a solid 8 hours ahead of us. Or 8 hours behind. 8 hours ahead, for sure. Let's see. Any other comments that we're missing here? Why don't you guys, we definitely want to hear the questions from everybody, so make sure you're dropping them in there. Drop them in there for either me or for Kelly on anything you want to know. But I like this concept of, is every serial killer a narcissist? And I think you made a good point, though. I think it doesn't seem like what you've seen of Dahmer that he is, eh?
No, I think he's just really messed up and
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. You know what though? Also,
Bundy textbook though, right? Textbook.
yeah,
We can
total
agree there.
narcissist and BTK
Represented himself
textbook.
in court,
Yeah,
like
yes,
all
that
that stuff. Thought he was smarter than
grandiose
any
sense of self.
lawyer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I also, this is a little bit of a controversial take, but I I don't want to glamorize or anything like that, the killer, but I do
Mhm.
want to know what happened in their past. And
Mhm.
because I don't think that someone is just like born a monster and they're like a total, oh, they're a horrible person,
Mhm.
they're a monster, blah, blah, blah. They're obviously a horrible person for doing what they
Yes.
did, but I think there are always
Yep.
reasons that
You're talking nature
make
versus
them.
nurture.
I think it's both, but
I'll make you
there's
uncomfortable.
always
That's not even how you
something.
spell Manitoba, man. I'm just giving him a hard time. You spelled your own province wrong, dude. I get
But
to
there's
pick on you
always,
now.
yeah, there's
To-
always something like abuse, neglect, trauma,
yeah,
different things like that. And um
100%.
I just, yeah,
Well,
I
there's
don't
like
know.
there's a, there's almost like, if you look at the shows like Mindhunter and stuff like that about profiling, there's a lot of these guys share a lot of, similar uh, circumstances throughout adolescence and throughout childhood and all of that,
Yeah.
right? Which
Mhm.
also kind of makes Dahmer a bit interesting because, well, I mean, there's some kind of back and forth on it, but according to him and according to his father, I mean, his father would never admit it if there was. According to both of them, though, there was never any kind of he didn't really suffer from abuse growing up or anything like that,
No, but it
which
seems
is
like there was some,
like his parents were fighting.
yeah.
But
Well,
I mean, if
I
you want to
guess
talk about people's parents fighting, I mean, how many people would be serial killers,
true.
right? So what interests me almost the most too is like you give like 50 people the exact same circumstances, and 49 of them kind of go this way, and one guy goes off this way and does those things. So what's different about that one, right? Who
Mhm.
decides I'm going to become the Jeff Dahmer, right? And
Yeah,
I kind of think I think the worst thing that ever happens, like I'm just speculating. I'm not a professional. I'm not a I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a whatever, but like I think it is all tied in with like puberty and coming of age and like
oh, interesting. Okay.
getting because a lot of it gets wrapped up in sex and stuff like that too, right?
Oh,
And it's like something kind of happens throughout those formative years that they get these wires crossed and this has become something of interest
yeah.
and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's
Like they got
like
aroused by the wrong thing at some
yeah,
point accidentally, and then it was like imprinted and
yeah,
poof, they're
yeah.
a
I mean,
serial killer.
I've talked about it on these lives a few times now, but like I even compare it to like this show that I watched called Outsiders, and it was just about people. I think there's also one called My Strange Addiction in the States, but it was
I
in like,
love that show.
yeah, but it's honestly, it's not like, I mean, it's the difference is that what these people are doing is hurting probably no one other than themselves,
Right.
right? But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it doesn't affect others, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think somebody woke like chose like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna eat this couch, and
Exactly.
like I'm gonna continue eating couches and blah blah blah. It's just something went wrong somewhere,
Yeah. It's all
and they
different
developed this, right?
yeah. Different
It's
variations of mental illness or mental like a mental thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. So,
Isel,
yeah.
as if that's how you pronounce your name, Isel. So BTK was also aroused by rope for some reason. And that's pretty a common one, to be honest.
Yes, definitely.
Shibari or whatever it's called and stuff too. But like that's like in consensual terms and all of that. But BTK had a issue with his mom too, where she fell one time and got stuck under the couch when she was vacuuming. Her ring got caught, and he was seeing her like I don't know. He talks about that. There's all kinds of
Wow.
stuff like there's I don't know wild shit in the world, man. And I like you said too. You need to cleanse your palate. Like I feel that too. Like there's times
Yeah.
where um we're doing stuff and like oh man, what the fuck?
The most brutal cases of like with involving kids or
I don't
just
even
like
touch it anymore. I can't. I
yeah,
can't. I can't. I can't do it. I can't. I don't want to do it. I'm not.
there
It's
were
not
a
going to do.
couple in my last book. My okay, so to be honest and a little vulnerable here, my last book really brought me down. Like, writing my
Yeah.
last book was really difficult. Just case after case after case of just the worst parts of humanity, just people doing horrible things to each other. Working in this genre, after a while, it can get really hard, especially like I'm very isolated. I 100% work from home and I do my own thing.
Yeah.
And so it was really like 3 books in a very concentrated amount of time. It was a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm taking a little break from true crime. So I still
Yeah.
enjoy talking about it and going on podcasts and stuff where I don't
Yeah.
have to do it all day, every day. So I'm
Yeah.
going
Well,
into a different direction. So
first, that's awesome. I want to get on to your different direction here shortly too.
yeah.
I am at a spot too with my channel where the plan for my channel has always been like, it's true crime, but it's different. It's comedy, blah blah blah. And as I
Yeah.
continue and as I grow, I think people are. I may lose some people, but I'm gonna probably get less and less dark and more.
I think that's
Um,
great. Yeah.
and
Little,
more into like other weird cases and stuff like that too, and just like evolve with the times and blah blah
yeah.
blah, but like always with my own kind of weird take on stuff. Like I've got
Hmm.
another one coming out soon on a very famous case from the 90s that a lot of people have forgotten about, and I can't wait to
Okay.
bring it back into everybody's memory. But it's another one of me out in the world. I get out of the studio, I go and I try a bunch of these experiments. Every experiment dumber than the one that was before it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's another one of those episodes for me. I love taking something very simple and making
Hmm.
it very complicated and stupid when it doesn't need to be. Like I've had it in
That's
my head
fun.
for the longest time. Like I do these other episodes called Last Meals sometimes, where I
Hmm.
make the last meal of someone who is on death row.
I love
And
that.
I've wanted to do one for the longest time because like the simplest one you could find is a guy who got he just had a single olive because
Oh,
he
okay.
wanted to eat the olive and put the pit in his pocket so that when they buried him, maybe an olive tree would grow or
Oh,
whatever.
well,
So
he
I
was
was like,
probably
how
a
could I?
terrible person, but that's kind of sweet.
I
So,
was like, what if I did that episode and just made it so complicated that it was like next thing you know, I'm on a plane and I'm like, I'm on my way to Italy, and I'm like up in
oh,
fucking Tuscany just to get like this one olive, right?
oh, yeah. That would,
Like,
yes,
I mean,
that's great.
I'm not going to spend the money to do that, but that's the kind of idea that I like the most. Like
I
when
love
it's
it.
just silly and off the rails. I did
Hmm.
a Last Meals episode on John Wayne Gacy where
What was his last meal?
his last
KFC?
meal, yes,
Was
yes,
it really?
yes, a bucket of
Ah,
KFC because he used to work at a few
I know.
own a couple KFC franchises, but
In
a bucket of
Iowa,
KFC,
where I live.
strawberries,
Yeah.
yes, strawberries and some fried shrimp. And
Mm.
very quickly, that episode became all about me just trying to figure out what the recipe for KFC is. So it becomes like I think I talk about John Wayne Gacy for a total of about 30 seconds in the 15-minute long episode. And then the rest is me just fucking around with these guys who work at KFC.
Oh my gosh.
And like that's the fun stuff for me though. It's like true
Yeah.
crime adjacent.
Yeah. It starts
So
there and you're taking it
it
in a whole
starts there,
different
but then
direction.
I like to just let it go and see what happens. Now, of
Yeah.
course, that was scripted to an extent, and I knew that I was going to go that direction. But I like
Yeah.
the idea of just like it starts with this, and by the time it gets to the end, you're like, "Who was this episode about again?"
That's
Yeah,
great. See, that's a
yeah.
palate cleanser. I love
All right,
that.
we got 72 in here right now. So if you're just joining us, we're here with Kelli Brink, the author of True Crime Sleep Stories. She writes or has some books out there and some podcasts about murder stories that you can put on and fall asleep to. Because we're weird like
Hopefully.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
tell us, Kelli, we're gonna come back to true crime, but tell us now what you're up to right now.
Yeah, so like I said, I needed a palate cleanser for all from all of that murder. I'm writing now. I mean, I would call it romance fiction. It's kind of erotic fiction. It's pretty racy. So it's really fun though. It's fun. I've had it in my head. I've had some books in my head for a while. So I'm doing at least 2 in this series. So I'm about halfway done with the one and already have the second one kind of in the works as well. So yeah, erotic fiction, totally different than murder. There's no murder. There's no crime in it at all. It's just they're great though. It's really fun to write. It's been really fun. Actually, the story, it's based in the outdoors. It's like an outdoorsy theme where this woman's on a road trip across the country, and there are things in the book that, not the sex part or anything like that, the things like the nature things, some of the vacations she takes. There are some loosely based things on my life, but it's like definitely an outdoorsy theme, which I love. So yeah, it's just totally different. So.
Outdoor fucking. Yeah.
Yes, it's like, yeah.
One of the best kinds, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So
yeah.
It's not all outdoors, but there are tents, there are cabins.
People are pitching tents.
Yes, lots of that.
That was like one of my worst attempts at a play on words there. Sorry.
Oh, but I'm still working with my same publisher in true crime world is helping me. I'm
cool.
getting my own publishing company set up and everything. So it's like a whole new chapter for me. So
you're based out of the you're in the US.
Yes, I'm in Iowa.
Can Canadians buy your book without a tariff, or what's the?
Oh, well, good question. Everything I have is on Amazon. So how does that work? Can they do that on Amazon? Okay.
I'm just joking. What a day. What a day for our countries. A silly day. Anyways, we're not going to get political, but like
I stay away from all political conversations because I mean, believe it or not, the true crime community gets pretty political.
Let's talk that.
I try to stay away from that.
Let's talk about that for a sec, though. About we talked about this a little bit in our pre-call about the ethics of true crime.
Yeah,
there's a group of people out there now. What were you saying to me about this? There's a group of people that are pushing for the more like victim-based or whatever it may be.
More like advocacy-based? Yes.
Yep. They're getting upset with channels like mine, like yours.
Yeah.
Like mine, probably.
Well, anything with, I think they get upset when there's like humor involved, but I think yours is great because all the humor is directed towards the perpetrator and stuff. So I think yours is great. But yeah, I think there's kind of like, there's a whole movement of people who are like, kind of like not happy when people profit off of these stories. But it's, at the end of the day, like, most people are doing it. Most people are not like glorifying the murderer or anything and doing it in a victim-centered way, I feel. So I just I don't know. I don't see a problem if someone's consuming your product and you profiting off of it. I really don't see a problem with that, but some people do. Yeah. So so there's a whole movement towards ethical true crime, which most people I know in true crime are that way anyway. So yeah.
Who are they even talking to? Because like just by doing that, even they're appealing to somebody, and I'm sure their channel or whatever it is probably monetized unless they're donating 100% of proceeds, and then they're not making much content. Right. So it's like, it's all, at the end of the day, it's like people complain about stuff like that, but everybody's making something. It is technically for entertainment. Don't pretend like it isn't.
Right. And the goal is, if you're spending time and money, and most people want to do this as a career, you need to support yourself. And most people I know are making money and not giving it all to charity. So I think people have been upset with things like, the Ashley Flowers of the world, like her millions and millions of dollars. But she's put together a successful business. Yeah. She's doing, I'm like, more power to her for that. So she's making a product that people want to consume. So I know there was the whole plagiarism thing that was problematic, but so Yeah. But I think, yeah. Like Crime Con, Crime Con, for
Crime Con's
instance.
kind of weird.
It's
It is kind of weird. I don't know.
huge.
It is kind of
Yeah.
weird. I thought it was kind of weird that BTK's daughter went.
Yeah. So I think it's become a more like victim-centered event. It used to be very like all of the merch and things like that had blood spatters and stuff on it, and people had problems with that, and like crime scene tape. People have problems with that, but
yeah. The interesting thing with Carrie, let's say Rawson going to Crime Con, in my opinion, I agree 100% that she is a victim. That her family, brother and her mother and her, are victims when they find out something like that about their dad. Now, I think where that gets dicey, though, to me, is nobody's debating that. But I think what the debate is yes, but does your side of things need to be put out public facing dealing with your trauma?
yeah.
Or should you just be doing that personally, that work in private, and not talking about it and not going to things, because still at the end of the day your father is the one who killed all the people, right? So no one's, it's like I wouldn't, so that's where I'm like this on it even myself, like, so who knows? I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know. That is hard. It is so interesting. Her viewpoint, though, that story she has to tell, it's something everyone wants to hear. Yeah. I think she's got a story to tell. Who are we to say she doesn't have as much of a right to tell her story as the victims? I guess everyone's got a story to tell. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely think, I mean, how was she a victim though? Because like she said her dad was great. She had a normal upbringing. So who is she a victim of?
She said, well, I mean, you find out something like that and it makes your entire life a lie.
Right. Okay, that's true.
Right.
Yeah, there's that.
Your entire life is well, here's the thing though, like I guess it's a kind of a faux pas question. But if you talk compartmentalization, is it a lie? Because I don't think I don't think a guy like that is faking love for his wife and daughter.
I don't think so
or
either.
faking having a good time going camping and faking blah blah blah.
Right.
He's got compartmentalization. You can visualize it just like our chat right now. It's like there's this compartment where I'm this guy who's the blah blah blah, and there's this compartment over here where I do all this other stuff. And those two compartments, even though I keep them right next to each other inside my own brain, never spills over to the other. Right. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily make it a lie. And I mean, I have that in my video about falling in love with serial killer too, and the talk of like, when you find that out, it's not like you just stop loving somebody overnight. Like his wife of like 20 years or whatever it was, or his daughter, they don't just, okay, found out he's BTK, I don't love my husband anymore. It's like, no. I mean, I'm sure you got to work through that and figure it out. Like, you're not going to stay together and you're going to divorce and you're going to all of that. But like, it's not like you just like a switch.
You love the person you thought they were, though, not the person they really were. But
they really were. But again, like the person that you thought they were, they are that person, but they're also something else.
But maybe, okay, here's another thing. Maybe they were not. Here's the thing. Like, okay, Dennis Rader was a narcissist. Did he somehow get off on also like being that great dad, being that great husband? Maybe he like that was just part of like, it made him feel like a better person, or it made him feel like, oh, I'm Superman because I'm also a good dad. But I don't know.
Yeah, I heard an interesting theory when I was on another one of these lives, and it was the Camping is Canceled podcast people, and they were saying that they had heard something where it was like the narcissist in like a in that case doesn't really love like that, but with empathy and blah blah blah. But what they do is they view it as something that is like from them and of them, and therefore it's
that's
like
what I
unfallible because it's theirs.
Yes. Yep.
That that's not how the rest of people like actually us
Right.
hopefully normal people love someone for who
Mhm.
for them. Like it's
Yeah.
super, 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 super weird.
It's just in a self-serving kind of way, probably, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, this person says Carrie is definitely a dramatic person. Her book should have been more about her dad. Well, I mean, her book was supposed to be. I don't know. I'm back and forth on that. Her book is okay. Like it was supposed to be about her, not about her dad. You want to hear about her dad? There's a billion things about her dad. We didn't know. The point of her book, I think, was also like her getting her trauma out to an extent, and
Mhm.
also like here's my perspective of what happened to me and my view on it, right? And
Mhm.
how that affected me. And that to me is kind of interesting, right? He
Yeah.
was a great narcissist. If Dennis Rader's wife let him do bondage on her, do you think he'd kill her? Do you
Oh,
think
that's
the
a
demon would
good
take over?
question.
No, I don't think so.
Would
I
he have
think,
wanted to do that on his wife, or was that,
yeah,
like,
probably,
sacred
but
to
like,
him?
I think probably,
Yeah.
but I think yeah, who knows? I think there's like,
You just
yeah,
think they always escalate.
yeah, I don't think he would. He made have. Yeah, I don't know. 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 It's a good question. I don't know. It's a weird question, but it's a good question. So I kind of talk about some of that stuff in my video coming out next week about the video about sex and the internet. So that should be interesting. I had to like figure out code words to use for the video because like I was like
Oh,
I'm gonna get like fucking demonetized like right
yeah.
away and the video blocked. So I just like I don't even say the word sex or porn.
You bleep it out, or
No, before I even get going, I have like an intro to the video, and the very first thing I do after the intro is say, "Listen, we got to set up some ground rules here because I don't want to get in trouble here because I'm trying to, you know." So
yeah.
I'm like, instead of this word, I point at my big expanse. I'm like, instead of this word, I'm going to use this, and instead of this word, I'm going to use this, and then for the whole video, it's those with a little legend down in the
That's
bottom.
great. I love that.
Yeah,
That's great. Um, yeah. So serial killers, I don't really get all that into serial killers. I just know kind of the basic ones. I'm more into like I love true crime history. I love like old cases. One of the reasons is like because the victims and everyone's probably long gone. And there's not a lot of like current controversy going on and stuff over those kinds of cases. I like
mhm,
the older cases, and I like to know like how the media covered cases like that, and like how
yeah,
technology was different back then and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people ask, whatever happened to the wife and kids? Some people are interested in the lives after the fact. Jay Miranda, what do you
Mm,
mean? Because if you mean what happened to the wife and kids of these people who go down as serial killers, I have a whole
yes.
video. I have an actual video on that. You should watch it. I can't believe you
Do
haven't seen it.
you?
Actually, Jay
Oh,
Miranda is one of
okay.
my best. But yeah, I have
So
one on that.
what do you say about the wife and kids? Because how do they move on? How do they go on when they're under like media scrutiny, and how do they change
Well,
their names?
you
They
know what's
can never go
interesting?
back to work?
Well, it just depends, right? Like that's what the whole video is about. Again, it's about exploring um, what happens to those people, the families of serial killers, because a lot of them don't speak out. Some do, but a lot don't. And it's like I had the question in the one that I did on BTK, right? It was I talked about BTK again, and in that video a lot, and I was like, so his wife. There's not even you can't find a photo of her. Like she doesn't. There's no photos of her out there. Like I don't know how she managed to escape every camera, but she did. And same with their son, right? Um, and so what I talk about in that video for a stretch is that like when he was arrested, Carrie was married already. Like just 2 years before he got arrested,
Yeah.
BTK he walked her down the aisle. She got
Wow.
married, so she had her partner. Right, her son wasn't married, didn't have a partner. So it's like my question was like, when in a relationship, like a new relationship, do you bring up who your dad was, or
Oh,
do you just lie and be like, "Oh, my dad's dead"? Like, but then I was like,
no.
well, you have to at some point, right?
Yeah.
But he's gone to great lengths to not be seen or talked about or known. So like, when would you bring that up? Because you have to be in a trusting, committed relationship probably before you'd want to bring it up. Because like, let's say you're just on a few dates with somebody and you bring it up, and then you have a weird bad breakup, and that person's gonna blow your cover somewhere or something. Like
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like you couldn't hide it forever because your sister's Carrie and she's all over the place. So it's like it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
David
Yeah.
Dahmer disappeared after
The brother of
the brother,
Jeffrey. Okay,
right?
I maybe did you do a video about this? Because I
I
just
had a
saw a
clip about
video.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I did a clip. You in that same video, I talk about him, right? Like, and
Were
just
you saying like maybe the kid doesn't know their uncle was Jeffrey Dahmer? Is
yeah,
that
maybe, and
yeah, yeah,
hopefully not. Like,
yeah,
hopefully not, right? He managed to pretty much disappear, and some people got mad at me for making that video. I wasn't, but I was saying like the point. I understand like it's weird to kind of say like, let's leave the guy alone. Here's a video about leaving the guy alone, kind of.
yeah.
But like that's kind of what the point was, right? But
Yep, yep,
I
yep.
didn't say anything that's not just right there on like fucking Wikipedia even, but like
Yeah.
my point was more so like this interesting idea of um like not telling people about who their relatives were, kind of,
Yeah,
because
I
it's like
always
he's so hidden, like for the most part. There's been a few photos of him, but like he's so hidden for the most part that like it's within the realm of possibility that his children don't know,
it
and
is.
that's
I always
that's cool.
yeah. And then you
I
always wonder
doubt
like
it. They probably do because they probably knew their grandfather, and
yeah,
their grandfathers interviewed. But even
yeah.
still, like it's possible. It's possible. I
It's
doubt it, but it's
I
possible.
really doubt it.
Yeah,
But yeah, you always wonder like are things like this hereditary? Like do they have any weird
yeah. Well, Lionel Dahmer
quirks or
always talk
anything
about
like
that.
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would, right? You would like if you think he would totally do that. Like if you had some kids and like your kid was like doing something kind of even remotely bizarre, you'd be like, "Uh oh, like."
Yeah. Yeah,
Do I
yeah,
need to
yeah.
be super worried about this, or is this just normal kid behavior? You'd be
Well,
more alert to certain red flags, that's for sure.
working in true crime, I'm always like on the lookout. I'm like, well, my kids are not like that or anything, but I'm always like, I don't want to raise a serial killer or anything like that. So I
Yeah,
try to, yeah.
yeah. Hmm. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I think I subbed after watching that one. Are you talking about the one that I have that's called "My Dad Was a Serial Killer"? Eisel, if that's how you pronounce your name. But yeah, um, Miranda, if you're still here, tell me if you saw that one. I'm interested. But yeah, I mean, I could talk all day about those kind of things. And that's kind of where this whole idea for me in the last, like, I think 4 months now or 3 months, I've started with these other videos, this other style where it's me kind of in a dark background instead of just
Hmm.
on the couch. And
Yeah, I love that.
I'm talking about a more serious topic, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not making dumb jokes like all the time. I make a couple maybe, but like I'm not really. They're more about like exploring these kind of topics that I consider to be fringe or maybe a little taboo or maybe just not really covered. Like you said, like I haven't seen a video out there really that many on the families of serial killers, so I made one. I haven't seen a video out there talking so much about where did all the serial killers go or why does it feel like we don't have any, so
Yeah.
I made one. And like each of those videos is just about me asking out loud a bunch of the questions that I have in my own head. Like I sit down to write that and I just let myself go and I just, well, what about this? And then it's like, yeah, okay, but if that's the case, then what about this, which
Hmm.
contradicts that? And what about that? And that's like the whole video, right? And the one that comes out next week is, I think, the best one yet. And I really hope it does as well as the Where Did All the Serial Killers Go. So I want all of you to make sure you get out there and watch it, cornflakes, as I call you.
Oh, your fans are the cornflakes? Is that
Yeah, that was thanks to Wednesday. Wednesday's not
I
here right
love
now,
that.
actually. But yeah, for a while it was like, what should I was like, for a while it was like Breakfast Club, and that was like too obvious.
Yeah.
And and then there was like, what should we call everybody? And I put out a thing for everybody, and there was like, for a while I was like, what do it's like the bystanders, the accessories, the blah blah blah. But I wanted something that tied in with the serial, and one of the fans Wednesday came in and said, cornflakes, and I thought it was the best one.
The
And I'll make you
spoons.
uncomfortable, keeps wanting to go with the family.
Like the
But
Manson family.
yes, but I've told him like 10 times. I'm like, but that sounds like I think the Manson family is cool.
Yeah.
So I'm naming my friends the family,
No,
and then that's not the
can't do
message I
that.
want to give, right? So
Right.
yes, Jay Miranda says spoon, 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 spoon. The spoons would have been a good one too, actually. Because you know what, when I was a few years younger, I had a roommate in my like late 20s, a roommate from Ireland, and he would always get upset with me and call me a spoon because that was an Irish thing. Winka, Josh, you're such a fucking spoon, mate. I was
I've
like,
never
you calling
heard
me a
that.
spoon? I'd never heard it before or since, really, either.
Me neither.
Said it was a Belfast thing, I guess.
Yes. Okay. Northern Ireland. It's a whole different thing. I love the cornflakes. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think it's good. I also thought Fruit Loops could have been good. I think cornflakes is good.
Fruit Loops would be great. There's a true crime podcast called Fruit Loops. So
is there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You know, there's so many of these really big. The other thing is like, why I don't want to watch true crime on my own right now either is I'm a big like, I don't want to accidentally copy anything. I just want to.
That's a good point.
I don't want it in my head. I just want to do my own
Yes.
take on stuff. So I just don't watch.
Very good point.
I've actually even unfollowed most of the big ones on Instagram and stuff just because I don't want to see their content pop up.
Yes.
And yeah, I just feel like it gets into my brain, and I just want my own.
When
I
I'm
used to have
doing
problems
research,
like that. I was yeah, big time.
I'm careful of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a huge problem with a lot of, well, I got a huge, I don't like podcasts and channels out there that are just like, what do you do? Like, you're just telling me the facts of this case. Like, you're just like listing it off. There's so many TikTok accounts like that. Like, it'll be like somebody with their shitty bad green screen where you know what I mean? And like, they're flickering down in the corner when they have like a newspaper up behind them.
Yes.
And like,
okay. I know what you're talking about there. Yeah.
And then they just like, they proceed to basically just like look off screen while they read something. And it's just like, yeah, okay, thanks for reading me the main page of Wikipedia today. Like,
there are a lot of those. Yes, lots of those. Yes,
I want to hear like your take on it, like your opinion and your like something more, please. You know, otherwise I'm not interested. Like, I don't care to like just get the news. Like,
but you know what? I think people do those for clicks and views. I think that's why they do it. Yeah. Again, they get big. They get a lot of views. Like in the.
Here's
like
the problem. It's garbage. No, here's the problem. It's fleeting success. So I worked for a long time in this space before having my own stuff too. And what a job that I had before this too was I was in charge of signing existing creators to contracts to be on our roster, existing creators and influencers to join my company, the company I was at, their roster. And then I was their contact point, and we were repackaging their existing content and putting it on other platforms that they didn't have access to, and getting monetization going for them and stuff. And like, there were these people that would be so huge for 15 minutes. Like, this one person I remember, it was when ASMR was all the rage, and like her whole video was just fingernails, like tapping on different surfaces close up. That was all she did. All she did. I have to like get on a phone call with this person and be like, hey, really love your work. I really love what you're doing, and like, we really believe in blah blah blah. And like what happens when an ASMR it drops off, which it did? What's this person gonna do? Because all right now is just their fingernails. It's not a sustainable.
Talent.
It's not a talent. It's not a skill. They're not good at anything. They're just like, in that case, right? So like, that success is going to be fleeting. And like, I'll struggle along being terribly unsuccessful rather than like bend over to like make content for the
Oh,
wrong
yeah.
reasons and
That's
like and
great. Yes.
become huge doing something that I don't want to do.
No,
And
I
then
know. Yeah.
yeah,
What
and
you
then
do is
being
so great and very
well, thank
unique.
you.
Yeah, it's a whole it's like a whole different spin on true crime. I've never seen a content creator do what you do. So that's why I was so excited to come on. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
It's definitely not just regurgitating headlines. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I
great.
hope not. I hope not. And if it ever gets to that point, it's funny because every time like I'm starting to think like I always have like a kind of like this list going of like I have a folder that's just called to write in my Google Drive. And like when I think of an idea, I just pop a new Google Doc in that folder with like that title to it.
Mhm.
And then like I know I have like these documents at any point I can hop into and like spit some more ideas down for that idea. And like because people say, aren't you gonna run out of killers to do? And like, no, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I
I don't
don't
think
think
so
so.
either.
Like
Yeah.
it amazes me all the time how how like this new kind of like in my opinion great idea will come up and I'm like wow that's like there's always more great ideas out there like you
Mhm.
just gotta
Mhm.
be committed to the work because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of work. And like you
Oh,
said
so
before
much
about
work.
monetizing, it's like yeah of course
Yes.
I'm doing this because I love it but I'm also hoping to make money doing it
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
because I don't
Yeah.
make any money doing it right now.
Yeah.
Although some people seem to think I do, because like I get angry comments from time to time about making money too, and I'm like, it actually costs me money.
Well, everybody thinks that all podcasts everybody with a podcast, I feel like
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh, you must be a millionaire, blah blah blah." Like you're doing podcasts, you have YouTube, blah blah, you're doing all this stuff and they think you're making a lot of money, but they just don't know
yeah,
how that process works and how
no,
few people actually make money from a
yeah,
podcast. So, it's
yeah,
a labor of love usually.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the channel that I was working at before, they made tons of money, tons, right? Like tons, to the tune of having 35 full time employees and an overhead of the like $400,000 a month just to like operate, and that's a YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
Yes.
But
Wow.
like, uh, but yeah, I mean, the potential for big business is there, and you just gotta like when I set out when I started the channel, I was like, I wasn't one of the people was expecting some like overnight success and like I'm gonna start my channel and next week I'll have 1 million subscribers and I had no expectations. Like some people on occasion do get huge quick, and
Yeah.
most of the time it's several years of grinding
Yeah.
along, doing your thing. And I'm on year 2 right now. Well, I mean, it'll hit 3 years in November. So it's like 2 years and
Wow.
2 years and a few months right now. But initially I started out, I was like, I'll give it like 5 years and see what happens.
That's
You know what I
great.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
The
it wasn't
long haul.
the long game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It's a marathon.
I'll make sure that that I can stand behind every piece of content that I put out, that I don't put out anything that I'm like, I don't like this, but whatever. So yeah,
Um, the hitchhiker, the Hatchet Hitchhiker, somebody is commenting on that. That was a good Netflix documentary. Did you watch that?
where's that? Kind of similar than the Hitchhiker. Hatchet Hitchhiker
It
had its
was
15-minute fame and spiraled. No, I didn't see it. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's been a couple years ago, but that was a really good one. He like saved somebody from being axe murdered basically, I think, and he was a homeless man and he just kind of went on his way and they tracked him down actually and found him and he had kind of like a 15 minutes of fame situation and then he went off the rails and I think he ended up murdering someone too, but it's been a couple years since I watched it, but that was really good.
I
Um
just I just had
yeah.
2 seconds of inspiration. Not
Oh.
inspiration, but an idea that I wanted to show people because I've never
Oh,
shown
cool.
no never
Okay.
ever shown anybody this. But people always ask like, so where's the where do you shoot? Like I know I don't shoot in my own house or anything, but I'll show you guys something. Let's see. There's the couch.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that
So-
definitely looks like a murder has taken place.
So like I gotta keep it stuffed in this. Like I have like this old freak garage. There's some more Brexit stuff, but like it barely even just fits. This is the couch. So every time we shoot, uh, cameraman Eric comes over here. We got to pull it out through this old garage door. Doesn't even really work anymore. So we take it out the door and like outside. It's raining out today here.
It was we had a little snowstorm here, so
Oh yeah. What?
yeah.
Okay, I'm in Canada. Shouldn't I be having the snowstorm?
Well, we had no snow at all until just recently. We kind of missed winter this year, so we're due.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Do you want to take? Should I take? I'll do that on a different live. Maybe next week. I was gonna say like I should. I'll pull out my robe boxes. People are always like, "How many robes do you have?" I'm like, "You don't even want to know." I'll do that.
Are they
soon,
props only, or do you wear them in real life? Do you actually put on a robe when you get up in the morning?
I put on. There's one that I wear all the time, like at home. Like I actually don't wear. I'm actually not a robe guy. I don't really wear robes. I wish I was a robe guy.
Yeah.
I would love to be a robe guy. I feel like
I find them a little cumbersome. Like it's like, oh, this is very bulky. They're cozy though.
Yeah,
That's nice. That's great.
This is my favorite lately. I got it originally, and I've used it in the last bunch videos in a row. I used to change a robe every single video, but for the last while, I've just been digging this robe the most.
Nice.
Like it's actually this is one of the more expensive ones. I bought it on ASOS or ASOS or whatever you call it.
Is it leopard print?
Oh yeah, it's blue.
Yeah.
It's blue leopard print.
That's fancy.
This one's dope. I actually wear this one around the house sometimes because it's warm and like I work down in the basement and sometimes it's like in order to have like and if it's warm down here it's like boiling hot upstairs. So I am always like cold down here, so I end up putting this on. I do have one really nice robe. It's from a company called OAS. They're Swedish. And it's the green robe that I wore in the very original video, the Dahmer video. It's and that's my like actual one that I sometimes actually do wear. It's in my closet upstairs, and I can't wear it anymore on shoots because it's green. And then we now shoot
green
on
screen.
Green screen.
Yes.
We never used to. We were in the actual space, so like,
yeah.
But this one, actually, I think this one's pretty cool. Actually,
it is. It looks very fluffy and nice. I love it.
Yeah, I initially thought I was like, was this a little feminine? And then I was like, nah, it's good. It's cool. It's a good one.
Maybe a little bit, but it's great. It's great. I love it.
When I was like probably high school through like my 20s, it was when the term that they would throw around was metro was a term back then, and I used to get that in high school because like I was always somebody who kind of like. I would wear like these big pink sweaters and like blah blah. I just I'm a clothes horse for sure.
Yeah.
You don't see it on the channel much because like I'm always just in a robe, but like I have a problem with like buying shirts and stuff like that. I buy shirts so much. My closet is like 3 times the size
You're
of
a
like
shopper.
my wife's closet for sure. I have to I donate clothes. I donate clothes like once every few months. We take like
probably that still have the tags.
Yeah, that happens. I wear. Sorry, we're getting so off topic. Like I said, right now we're just talking about my wardrobe.
You ever have anyone want to throw up on the screen, Josh? What does that mean?
What?
I don't know. I'm just reading the comments.
Oh, he has problems with. I wore a pink sweater last week. I was just joking about that pink sweater, but I wore a pink sweater last week, and he's like, yeah, he thinks it's. Did you know that pink used to be considered a man's color anyways because it was called slip blood before it was a woman's color?
No,
And here's the
I
thing.
didn't know
Here's the
that.
thing. I'll make you uncomfortable. Just because you're too uncomfortable. Is it? I'll make you uncomfortable because I'm uncomfortable with my own manhood. That's what your name should be. Because you can't wear
Calling you
pink.
out.
You can't wear pink. Give me a break, man. Come on. You should see my footwear. I probably have like 30 pairs of
slippers?
shoes. No,
Oh,
like
no.
my shoes, my shoe collection. Oh man, I'm letting all the stuff out right today. All the secrets. All
Well,
the
who's your
secrets.
favorite serial killer?
The one that I find most
Yeah,
interesting.
yes, yeah.
You know what? I gotta probably say BTK. Because I every time I write anything, it's just like, well,
you're
you know what?
inspired.
Like Dennis, this reminds me of Dennis because blah 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 blah. But I wish it wasn't, but I gotta say it's probably because like he comes up every time I fucking think. Put down the shirts and sing some chop suey. Put down the shirts. What do you mean? What do you want? The System of a Down? Chop suey? Is that what you're talking about? Why are you asking? Can I sing chop suey? That's an interesting question. Wake up. Grandma said to put a little makeup. Is it with the pizza on the table? He wanted to.
You wanted to.
I used to be in a metal band when I was like younger too. That would play a couple System of a Down songs, but not that one. Put down the rockin' the robe. Should be holding the guitar. Well, yeah, you name it, I got it down here, folks. Let's see. BTK, seriously sane. That's the
Same.
no,
Yes. Yeah.
No, he said okay, same. Okay, I was like, are you advocating for him to be
that he's actually
sane?
he's very sane.
Guys, BTK, he was very sane. Very sane. Yeah. So here's a thought. Well, we're getting off topic, but that's fine, right? We said here's a thought. Why don't we play a game here called
Okay.
Josh has a video coming out in a week, and I'm desperately racking my brain to think of what a good thumbnail would be.
Okay.
So if the video was called, I think I'm going to call it a sentence. It'll be a question. I think it's going to be called something along the lines of, could sex in the internet have stopped serial killers? Question.
Okay.
So here's what I was thinking: like split screen. One side is like Dahmer, pretty dark looking. The other side is just like the kiss emoji and like some other stuff like that, and like a Wi-Fi symbol. Like, it's not great. It's hard to think.
I think you should do an AI version of Dahmer.
Yeah.
That's all sexed up and with like something like that. Yeah, that would be good.
It's an option too. It's definitely an option too. I'm curious to know if people get annoyed too much with an AI thumbnail and go like, I'm not interested in somebody's AI, or you know what I mean? I don't know. Because I had an idea of Ted Bundy with a smartphone. And
yeah.
What was on the screen, right? But like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think this would be very like one of the very fitting moments to use AI for a thumbnail, though.
True.
If you're
because you're also kind of talking about the advances of technology at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
It's futuristic, and there's only one way to paint a picture of what they would be like now. AI. I think that's the perfect opportunity for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do get like a little annoyed with all the AI art and video and stuff too. Now but
it's also such a buzzword that's used incorrectly all the time. Like I see all these ads are targeted at me all the time where they're like, this is my video sound. And then they're like, this is my video sound with AI. And it's like they cleaned up the background noise. And it's just like, it's not AI. That's just a noise filter that's existed for like 30
years. Literally for 30 years.
They love the word AI. They just do.
Yeah.
So such
Well,
a
it's quite a buzzword now. Yes. Yeah.
I saw a great quote though where it was like, I want AI to do my oh shit, what was the quote again? I want AI to like do my laundry and my cooking or something like that so that I can focus on my on art and music or whatever it was, not for AI to do my art and music. So
Oh,
yeah, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It was a great quote like that though.
Yeah.
You're old school, Josh. Stick to your roots. I don't understand what that means. See what I did
As in
there?
don't use AI.
Oh, stick to your roots. I see. I see. No call in. I don't know what that means either.
Oh, somebody suggested doing a call-in show, and they're saying don't do a
Oh,
call-in show. Yeah.
I would love, you know what though? I would freaking love if I could do a YouTube live where I could just let anybody in for a minute and talk.
Yeah.
I'm currently banned on Instagram. That's why I haven't been doing stuff on Instagram for the last like
How did
3
you get
months.
banned? Why are you banned? The content, like serial killer stuff, or what?
For some reason, they it was a I did a Charles in Charge. I took the Charles in Charge intro from the Scott Baio show from the 80s and like recut it with Charles Manson.
Oh.
Uh, and the Manson family. It's great. It looks exactly like a sitcom, like startup. And
Mhm.
they hated that one and they put a 3-month restriction on my account.
Wow.
It's actually over next week. But in the meantime, I've just lost about 100 a day of followers for the last 3 real
Oh,
pain in the ass. I
yeah.
was doing all my reels were getting, you know, a couple 100,000 views each before that and
Mhm.
stuff. And you know what the funniest thing is? That very reel that they banned, it was the third time I posted it.
Oh,
The other two
oh.
are still there with like over 1,000,000 views.
I
It's
wonder if
still up.
someone reported you.
I don't know, but anyways, I'll be back and we'll see what happens when that ban lifts.
And you're
But
going to do more lives than on
I could
Instagram.
do maybe some more on Instagram where you can allow someone to join.
Yeah.
You can't really do it with this. I could share somebody the link right now, but then it would boot one of us, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, um, I guess
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know
Do
how it
you
would
do
work.
do you do much on TikTok? I should know
Um,
this, but
I used to.
mm,
So when I first started the channel, I would post my YouTube shorts. Basically, I'd have them slightly reformatted. One would go on Instagram, one would go on TikTok, one would go on YouTube as shorts for my
mhm.
long form content.
Mhm.
But TikTok had some very early success. Like I had a couple TikToks do like a couple million, and I got like 20,000 followers in one day.
Wow,
And
that's
then,
great.
um, but then they started like flagging every single piece of content, like all the time that I would put up to the point
Mhm.
where I would just be like, forget this. Like, and I would like,
Yeah.
cause like I would put up something that wasn't offensive at all or wasn't bad at all. And they
Mhm.
would be like, it's under review and it would stay under review. So I was just like, I can't bother with this. So I just, every now and then I throw stuff at it, but I don't put any effort into like tagging it and anything
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and usually my my caption for it is something dogging on TikTok. I'm like,
TikTok will
"Fuck you,
probably take
TikTok."
us down.
It's probably not smart, but
No, it's great.
yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Live
Yes, the
chats
world
are
is full of some snowflakes, I agree.
yeah. I actually just watched her A Day in the Life of a True Crime Writer skit.
Oh,
That
yeah,
coffee
that's on
drop.
my
Oof,
Instagram.
I felt that. Oh yeah, you go to what was the name of that coffee shop again?
That I don't even I think it was Anthem Coffee, but
That's it. That's it.
that was
Yeah,
not even my coffee shop, it's just a picture from the internet that I put into the
yeah.
video. That's not my actual coffee shop that I go to,
Dun,
so
dun, dun. The magic of movie making, folks.
Yep, yep, yep.
Who would have thought? I'm always trying to think too, like with my magical editing skills. I'm like, how can I cut this couch down even further so I don't have to move it around? Like because I used to shoot in the place. Now I'm shooting in studio, but we still got to move the couch. It's a pain in the ass. Can I just like somehow just keep the main cushion that I sit on, and then like build the rest of the couch with AI? No, build the rest of the couch through motion graphics. Like, am I that talented? The answer is no. I have to carry the couch. Eventually, we're gonna find storage inside the studio so we don't have to take it back and forth, because it's not. Cameraman Eric is the owner of the studio. It's just that it's rented out. They rent it out for client work all the time. So like, it looks bad to just have this dirty old couch sitting around.
It is pretty. Did you distress it, or did you find it in that condition?
So long story short, I've told this a few times on the channel here, but like when I started the channel, we used to shoot in a real house. It was like this woman that I knew I used to do some work for. It was her mother's house, but her mother was really old and in assisted living, and the house was sitting empty.
Okay.
And they also owned the house next door where one of the siblings lived, and they just maintained their mom's house. But she's like, you can go shoot there if you want, because I had put a thing on my Facebook saying, I'm looking for this kind of look. And she's like, my mom's house, go shoot there.
Yeah.
She doesn't live there. So, okay. So we go and we shot, like, it's like an hour away from where I live. But we would drive out and we would shoot for 2 days, and we'd shoot 8 episodes. We'd stay overnight. We'd stay overnight in the house, bring our sleeping bags, and sleep in the beds in the bedrooms of this really old, like, time capsule house. It was kind of fun. But then we did that like 3 times, and then unfortunately the mother passed away, and the kids were like, we're going to sell the house because we're not going to just keep maintaining it, so you can't really shoot here anymore. And I was like, can I buy the couch? They were like, yeah, sure. So we came back, we shot one more time, I bought the couch. So yeah, that's exactly how it looked. It's been sitting there since the 70s probably in their house, right? But now it's in my garage.
I do something similar every year. I rent the Villisca axe murder house every year with a group of friends. We don't do a ton of filming. We do like a paranormal investigation though, and we do an overnight, and we have our sleeping bags and everything and spend the night in the house. That's one of the cases that was
Invite me and cameraman Eric next year.
Yes.
We'll make you guys something fucking crazy.
Oh, that would be awesome, because we don't really do a lot of filming. We do like maybe a few shorts and some lives and stuff while we're there, but we bring like 10 people with us. We bring like psychic mediums, and we bring all the ghost hunting equipment and everything. And that's a case I did talk about at CrimeCon too, the Villisca axe murder house, because it happened in Iowa. So, and it's like one of the most haunted places in America. Wow. So all the shows have been there. It's pretty cool. It's just kind of a cozy farmhouse though, really. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Is this Iowa? Or no, is this heaven? I said that to you last time.
Yeah.
No, it's Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah, I live pretty close to there. Yep.
Stay in the studio, just throwing it out there. That's a good idea. I think the better idea for me to do, I've been keeping my eyes open on Facebook Marketplace for a new couch that's smaller. But I really want it to be like love seat size, but a bench seat, not like just two separate cushions, because I got to sit in the middle of it, and I don't want to sit in the middle of 2 cushions.
Yeah,
so I can keep it like a bench cushion type look. But and then what I would do is I would treat the couch. I would do a whole special episode where we would get rid of the couch like we were getting rid of a body. So like
dump it off a bridge. No.
Dump it off a bridge for one.
Set it on fire.
Set it on fire. Maybe put it through a wood chipper. Like it'd be fun to like do a whole bunch of different stuff to it. Like see if we could destroy the evidence.
Take an axe to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No new sofa. I want to visit there too, and the Lizzie Borden house as Pamela.
Yeah, that would be cool. I've not been there. I just have done a few places around Iowa in the Midwest. So, but I wrote about the Villisca axe murder in my first book, volume 1 also. So
where can people find the book?
On Amazon. If you go to Amazon and just search for True Crime Sleep Stories, they all pop up. So
somebody who's watching right now, please go and find it on Amazon and then pop a link into our chat for everyone else.
oh, okay. Great.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I will do it. But don't make me
Okay.
do it. I don't want to do it, guys, because I'm talking. What's the name of your book? I came in late, says Pamela B. She just said, but say again.
True Crime Sleep Stories, volumes 1 through 3.
Yeah.
My favorite is volume 3. It came out Valentine's week. It's love gone wrong, basically stories of just twisted tales of romance gone wrong. So, yeah.
Do you guys want a... That's cool. Do you guys want a very tiny sneak peek at something really cool?
Yeah.
Speaking of the couch, look at this shot. This is really cool, I think, personally. I'm doing something new with it. Orientation is locked. Okay. There's me. This is a shot, right? So here's me. Look at this shot. Look at how big it is. Ugh.
Oh, wow.
I'm in this giant space, and that's Wikipedia.
that is cool. Look at that.
Yeah, it's going to be super cool. Like, this video is going to be awesome. So, yeah. Yeah. There's a sneak peek of a video that's coming out soon.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Pamela, hopefully that's not the story of your life. These love stories end really bad. And a lot of my love stories end really bad, but luckily not in murder. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let me think. I'm a guy who's had, let me see. You know what? Okay, this is a little personal. I won't say too much on it, but today's actually my anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Probably shouldn't be on YouTube Live.
Congratulations. We couldn't
Thank
miss
you.
2 weeks in a row though. So,
Yeah. No, we're doing something on the weekend. So
nice. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You've got the whole week to celebrate. So
For sure. Now we've got this, like, it almost looks like we're in like different like little tiles here. It's like I'm in the
I
left,
noticed that the
and like
TV up there.
the
Yeah.
TV looks like another tile that we
It
have
does.
up there.
Kind of
Like
looks like my head's cut off.
yeah, because it looks like
Yeah.
a line, like a hard line.
It does.
And then I've got this white thing here. If I tilt my camera even more,
It
like
does.
my
Yes.
desk, then we could have
Yes.
like another one. See, now it matches with the.
I didn't want a blank TV behind me, and I just turned on the fireplace. So.
Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so glad I joined the live tonight, so Josh could talk about his desk." We haven't talked about true crime in a while, but that's the beauty of going live, man. You just chat.
Yep.
At one point, we were up to like 70 something people live at one time, and did you see that?
Yes, I did. Yep.
That's good.
Ebbs and
That's
flows.
good.
That's great.
It ebbs and flows, but we've been consistently above 30.
Yep.
If not a little higher, that's great. 70 might have. I think maybe with Dr. Death, Bill.
Dr. Bill.
We might have had 90 at one point when he was going off about something crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, what can I go off on? That's crazy. I don't know.
Talk about that post you just put up about that guy feeding it to that person from behind.
Wait, what?
In the tent. Wasn't that yours?
Oh, wait. My next book?
Yeah, it's the cover, I think. Isn't it?
Then yes. So my publisher and I were working on cover ideas for the next book. I have someone design all my book covers, obviously. And that one, it's pretty racy. I mean, it's erotic fiction. So we were just trying to figure out like how much we could get away with and not get in trouble. So there's no nudity or anything, but there's some action happening in the tent. So yep. It's kind of racy. Yeah.
One of the absolute funniest nights of my life was when I was like, I don't know, it's only like 10 years ago probably. We were camping as a group of friends, and my one friend was doing like an Austin Powers-ish silhouette. Everybody was pretty far gone at this point. It was like 3 a.m. or something like that. Everybody's I had way too many, and like my one buddy's in his tent doing the silhouette type thing, but he was
Mm.
so good at it, and it went on for so long, but it was really good, a really good, yeah, like the Austin Powers thing where remember that scene in Austin Powers? It's like
I
mini
don't
me and him inside of a
know if
tent
I
or something. At one point,
Oh,
he's like,
yes,
yeah,
okay, I remember that, I remember that.
yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
yeah.
Yes, a tent was pitched. Yes, a tent was pitched. Um, so yeah, and then my third book, talking about covers, I was a little bit I kind of wonder what people think about my book covers. This last one was kind of violent. There was blood, which I try to stay away from, but I didn't design the book. I think it's a good book cover. It's a little more like gore than I would normally do, but it was fitting
Mhm,
for the book, but I
mhm.
try to stay away from that, trying to be like, you know, um
Yeah, for sure.
sensitive. I think I try to be sensitive, but it was fitting. It was like flowers and blood, and obviously like a crime took place, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
It's always a struggle. It's like I'm trying to figure out I've had my branding pretty locked in since day one, I guess. Like when I decided I was going to do the cereal boxes, and I was playing
Yes.
because it's all played off of the Wheaties, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So the Wheaties orange and the blue and white were my colors.
mhm.
Um, Over time, that is shifting a little bit, but it's still mainly the main colors. But like I'm thinking of kind of revamping my whole YouTube channel's look soon, and like
Oh,
just getting like some new artwork and some new
okay.
photos done and stuff like that. So we'll see if I do that or not. But
Oh, I
I
love your cereal boxes
the cereal boxes
and
will
all of that.
always be a
Yeah,
thing.
okay, good. That's
So
great.
yeah, as the channel kind of grows and evolves, it's become like it's almost like I could change the name of the channel to be like I won't do that, but like it's almost like I could and call like I'm this is a really bad example, but like if you called it like killer content, and then within that there was like breakfast cereal, and that's like
Mhm.
the stuff when I'm on the couch with the cereal box. And then there was another lane of content, which is like when I'm a little more serious and sitting in the dark space. And then there's the Guess Who content when people come on and we play Guess Who, and like we serial killer Guess Who that I have and stuff like that I made,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And those are
Yeah, yeah.
interviews. So it'd be like different lanes of content all under the umbrella of a different name, and you
Mhm.
still get like once a month you get a breakfast cereal episode on the couch, you get one more serious, and you get a Guess Who, and you get something else like a movie review. So every 4 weeks I've got like different things to
Yeah.
do like that, and that's what will eventually happen as I get bigger, right?
Yep,
And I have more
for
time
sure.
to work on stuff because I got to make money too, so I have to do,
You have
I have to
you have a full-time
I have a
job. Yeah.
full-time filmmaking job.
I'm yeah.
Tomorrow I'm editing all day for like client work, right? And like I want to be editing my own thing, but I have to do my client work
Yeah.
because
Yeah, yeah.
otherwise I can't eat food. Yeah.
And
What do you got there? You got some stuff to show us?
I've got my books. Somebody said I'm your volume 1 right now. Just because like, okay, so there's volume 1, not gory, but there's a person there. There's
Hmm.
obviously someone there.
Yeah.
Volume 2 is very similar, just a woman reading in her bed. Volume 3 is the one where it's like, oh, that's some stuff
Yeah.
going on. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
they're thick.
they're I don't know, they're like 150 pages each. So there's like 15 chapters in each book, but
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
So what's we got a few minutes left here. So
Yeah.
what's next for Kelly?
Well, I
Kelly
said yeah.
Kapowski.
Yeah. I've got the my next book is called okay, it sounds so bad. It's called Behind Me. It's an erotic fiction book. It's literal and figurative because the main character is putting the past behind her, so that's what that means. But it's called Behind Me, and then there's a sequel to that will be coming out much later. But Yeah, so I'm working on romance and erotic fiction right now. Big genre change, but it's so fun. It's really fun, and it's a lot more uplifting, a lot more like positive than murder. Right now, I'm really happy to be
Yeah.
taking a break from that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yep,
Cool.
yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's what's next for me, and I'm just always making content, and I travel a lot, and I try to make, videos and reels and stuff when I go places, and
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I
Right
will
on.
keep doing the True Crime Sleep Stories podcast though, because I really love doing that podcast, and I have a lot of episodes to catch up on that I want to get recorded, and
Yeah.
I love audio production and stuff. So
When when I was a kid, there was a radio show at night in the local radio station, and it was purchased from somewhere. It was like Don Jackson or something, and it was like lovers and other strangers. And he would just read like poetry, and then they would play like love music in between, but then he would come back and he'd be like, as the wind blows and blah blah blah. Blah, his voice always down here. He only talked about love. But I
you're pretty good
remember
at
it
that.
vividly. Yeah, I got a pretty low voice if I need it to be. But
That's
yeah,
great.
so it's a memory for sure. Smoke them if you got them, folks. What are the questions? As the last thing from me for the night, just to get update on what's coming out on the channel. Like I said, we just shot yesterday some new stuff. The stuff that I think is the best I've ever made. Now I say that every time, but like, but I think if you're not getting better, what's wrong with you, right? So,
Yeah.
next week's video is going to be a really good one. I think I'm excited for you to see it. It's more in that video essay type space again, in me in the dark spot. The week after that, we're going to something a little different. And then I'm currently working. I had that Guess Who episode with the psychologist, Dr. Rachel Tolles, who is currently on tour with the Psychology of a Serial Killer tour that she's on, Psychology of a Murderer now as well. There's so much content from that shoot, over 2 hours of conversation, that I'm gonna probably make a second episode because people have been asking about it. So that's gonna probably come out too, as long as she's okay with that. And yeah, so that's what's next in store. I don't know who's gonna be live with me next week. I'm I'm up against it all the time because I have to be doing the other stuff for work and blah blah blah. It's a lot for me to find everybody all the time. I gotta dedicate some time to like try to book it out in advance a little bit better than I have been. But yeah, so smoke them if you got them. Any questions? Let's see.
The podcasts are on YouTube, not
There you
on
go.
this YouTube channel, but on my True Crime Sleep Stories YouTube channel, which I think there's a link in my YouTube somewhere. I have not been great with my YouTube, but they are on YouTube. So I need to do some updating on there.
James, it's next Friday. So last Friday I had an episode out. Right? Yeah, last Friday was an episode. So next Friday, sorry. Whatever date that is, I forget. The 14th, I think it is. So I have to touch myself until then. Well, I'll reply this video over and over and over.
He'll just keep
Okay,
watching
you're a
you
character.
every day.
Stick some of that dry ice up your own.
It's your biggest fan.
Yeah. This was another great live. I love being introduced to new people you have on, Heart.
Aw,
Well, that's very
thanks.
kind. All right. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for.
Thanks so much for having me. You're amazing. When you asked me to
You're
come on, I
amazing.
was like, oh, I was so excited. I just love your content so much.
Well,
So
that's awesome.
talented.
I appreciate that. And everybody, make sure you hop over to Amazon, pick up a copy of the book, go follow on Instagram. What's your Instagram username?
It's just Kelli Brink, KelliBrink, Kelli Brink.
Where's the best place for people to follow and
That's
follow you?
probably the best.
Instagram?
That's where I do everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, get over there and follow her over there. folks. You're already following me if you're here. I don't know if you're following me on Instagram, but if you're not, you could. Again, YouTube is my main platform, so it's where we're trying to grow the most. So thanks everybody for joining tonight. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep talking for another 30 seconds because I want to see my phone hit 10:30 before I stop this one. Because the last few lives,
there you go.
the last few lives, I thought I was an hour and a half long, and they were like just shy by like a few seconds.
Short.
I got like 5
shoot.
seconds to go, and we're an hour and a half.
Thank you,
There
James
it
Herbert.
is. Okay, folks. All right.
Have a
Take
good
care,
one.
everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.